What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Stokastic.com, back again with the Week 5 NFL Contenders on DraftKings. This one's nuts. I can't believe we're already into Week 5. I feel like I just started doing these videos and now we're a quarter of the way through the season. But anyway, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments, who are your favorite plays for this week? I want to know what you're looking at for Sunday. And finally, shout out to Prize Picks, presenting sponsor of this video. If you click the link in the description, you'll head on over to Prize Picks, make a deposit. If you deposit anything up to $100, they're going to match it. So put in 100, they're going to give you 100. You don't need an optimizer. You're picking player props, taking over-unders, put together 5 on one card. You'll net up to 10x your entry fee. So please go check out Prize Picks, guys. We got the defenses on the screen. 49ers at the top of the heap. Feel free to choose whatever defense fits your lineup. You know that's not the thing that we're looking at. Who are going to be my top 5 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends? It's time to find out. We've got a clear number 1 at tight end, but before we get there, we've got Hunter Henry, Logan Thomas, Evan Ingram, Zach Ertz, Pat Freiermuth, and then David NJOKU in at the number 5 spot, 3,800 for NJOKU, projected for about 9.5 fantasy points. Cleveland 2-point dogs in this one, 47.5 point total. Very interesting spot. You're not going to NJOKU for a ceiling game, nothing over 30. That is very unlikely. 6.5% chance that he is in the optimal lineup. You're hoping to vulture a touchdown. If you do that, you're probably feeling pretty good. If you can grab 2 of them, that is going to be a very nice way to pay down. Everything I just said for NJOKU also works here for Dalton Schultz, 3,400, projected for 8.7 fantasy points. The line, 5.5, so Cowboys are kind of pretty sizable dogs here against the Rams, 43-point total. Again, you're not going to Schultz for this monster score. You're going to be more efficient to pay up elsewhere. 7% likelihood for Schultz to be in the optimal. You're hoping for 2 random touchdowns from the red zone. That is your goal for Dalton Schultz or for NJOKU. Slightly higher ceiling here at number 3 for Dallas Goedert. He's 4,700, projected for 12 fantasy points, so you need a little bit more here out of Goedert. Eagles are 5.5 point favorites against Arizona, 48.5 point total. 1.5% likelihood for Goedert to go for north of 30, but even still, you need way less than that. 8.5% likelihood that he's in the optimal lineup. All these tight ends, from Goedert down, they're all very, very similar relative to their odds of success. We take a slight step up at 2, and then we get shot out of a cannon for number 1. Number 2 is going to be Kyle Pitts, 4,400, projected for 12.3 fantasy points. Falcons are probably going to have to throw here. They are 10-point dogs against the Bucs. 46-point total means there are still some points to be had. Maybe you get a 1 out of 100 game for Pitts and he goes for north of 30, but really you need quite a bit less to be happy with Pitts. 11% likelihood he's in the optimal. None of these guys that I've mentioned match up to our number 1 guy. And that would be Tyler HIGBEE, 4,300, projected for 13.5. Rams are favorites here, 5.5 point favorites against Dallas, 43-point total. You got a very small chance at that north of 30 game, 3% likelihood for HIGBEE. But the projection and the price, this is the best combination by far. It's the best point per dollar play you're going to get with any sort of ceiling. 18.5% chance that HIGBEE is your optimal tight end. Make sure you're using him in cash, people. Without question, this is the flattest I've ever seen the wide receiver position. Anybody in the top 10 works. If you want to say that anyone here is the top 10 or is the number 1 receiver this week, I'm comfortable in saying I believe you. Drake London, Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, Brandon Cooks, Chris Olave, and Tyler Lockett in at the number 5 spot. 5,600 for Lockett, projected for 15 fantasy points. Seattle, 5.5 point dogs against the Saints. Imagine how big of a dog they would be if they still had Russell Wilson. 46-point total here as well. 9% likelihood for Lockett to go for more than 30. That's a pretty nice ceiling at 5,600. Plus another 12.5% chance to just be in the optimal. You don't need that 30-point ceiling at all, but it's there. He's just cost effective at 5,600. As is Chris Godwin at 5,900, projected for 16.5. It's a great spot for Tampa, but you kind of need Godwin to get there early. I'm not entirely sure they're going to be all that behind later in the game. 46-point total, though. We're expecting points. 11% chance for Godwin to go for more than 30. That's a pretty big ceiling. 13% chance he's optimal. You're gonna need like 25 plus out of Godwin, but is 10 for 100 and a touchdown, is that gonna get you where you want to be? I'd be okay with it. That's your 26. That gets you in an optimal lineup. It's a decent start to a stack. We'll see if he's actually playing this Sunday, but TYREEK Hill in at number 3. This is where you start getting monster ceilings. 8K for Hill, projected for 20 fantasy points. Dolphins, 3-point favorites against the Jets, 46-point total. That's a lot higher than I was actually expecting for this game, and I think that makes Hill a little bit more appealing. 20% chance he goes for more than 30. We're talking 1 out of every 5 times you play this game. 13% chance that he is in the optimal lineup. I don't think that I really need to explain this one. TYREEK Hill, massive ceiling, 8K, not a crazy price tag to try to buy that ceiling. The guy with the highest actual ceiling on the slate would be KUPP, 9,600, projected for 25 fantasy points. Rams, favorites against Dallas. It's hard to even say this. 36.5% chance that KUPP scores more than 30 fantasy points. This guy is just on a completely different level. Only a 14% chance that he's in the optimal, however, just because it's really, really difficult at 9,600. You gotta hit a lot of other, to get to KUPP, you're making concessions elsewhere. Those concessions are not likely to be good DFS plays, or at the very least, they're not frequently good DFS plays. You need to get very specifically lucky with what's around KUPP when he has that monster day, because you're paying down with guys that aren't all that exciting. But even still, even knowing all of that, it still gets KUPP to number 2 because his ceiling is just so high. And then we close it out at number 1 in Jacksonville for Christian Kirk, 6,600, projected for just shy of 18 fantasy points. The Jags are 7-point favorites against the Texans, 43.5-point total. 16% likelihood to go for more than 30. There's a floor here as well, 11% chance to go under 10, but a 15% chance that he is the optimal wide receiver for this week. But the difference between Kirk at 1 and say Drake London at 10 is very little. If I drop Kirk 0.2 of a point and bump Drake London, whoa, I can't even talk. Bump Drake London 0.2 of a point, these guys are going to just immediately be right next to each other. It's very, very slim margins throughout everything at wide receiver. So that makes your stacks very important. To the running backs we go, and we've got Jamal Williams, Derrick Henry. I don't know why I just stopped talking there. Breece Hall, Damian Harris, Dalvin Cook, and then Dameon Pierce into the number 5 spot. 2 Damians spelled differently in the top 10. That's interesting. 6,200 for Dameon Pierce, projected for just under 16 fantasy points. Texans are dogs against the Jags, but it feels like a decent spot, even though they are 7-point underdogs. 5% chance that Pierce goes for more than 30. Gonna need him in that case. 11% likelihood he's in the optimal lineup. I just think he's a very cost-efficient option at 6,200 given his workload. In at number 4, we've got RHAMONDRE Stevenson, 5,500, projected for 14.5. New England's got a date with the Lions. That's usually a pretty good thing from a fantasy perspective. 3.5-point favorites here, 46-point total. It's not a monster ceiling game. It's 4% likelihood to go for more than 30, which means, 1 out of every 25 times you play this one. 13% chance he's optimal, though, and that's the most interesting piece. We mentioned KUPP before, but these are the type of guys, these sub 6K running backs, where you need to kind of go a little bit lower. Maybe you're not going all the way to the top at running back, which we'll talk about some of those guys shortly. Stevenson just works as a value option with a clear ceiling against the Detroit Lions. We also have guys like Leonard Fournette at 6,900, projected for about 20 fantasy points. The fact that Tampa's a 10-point favorite with a 46-point total looks really nice for Fournette because he might have a monster second half. 12% chance he goes for more than 30. 13% chance he is your optimal running back. Look at the odds of him going under 10 fantasy points. Outside of injury, it's not very likely. The floor looks really great for Fournette because this matchup is perfect. Well worth a $6,900 price. Another guy in that sub 6 range is going to be Jeff Wilson in at number 2, 5,500, projected for 14.7 fantasy points. The Niners taking on the Panthers. They're 6.5-point favorites here, but sub 40-point total, 39.5 in fact. Not the best fantasy matchup in the world, but it is good for running backs. 4.5% chance to go for more than 30. 14% likelihood to be an optimal running back. I'm liking Jeff Wilson in cash games for sure. There is a little bit of a ceiling here. You don't even need to go all the way up to 30, but you're hoping that he can get a lot of this workload in a low-scoring environment. Finally, we close it out at number 1 with Alvin Kamara, 6,600, projected for 18 fantasy points. New Orleans taking on Seattle. Great setup altogether. 5.5 point favorites, 46 point total. A guy that's going to be involved either way, running or passing. 11% likelihood to go for more than 30, which it just feels higher than that in my brain, but I guess it's not because we got to rely on the data. 16% chance to be in the optimal, however, means that Alvin Kamara is at the top of the heap when it comes to running backs. Now, before we get to the quarterbacks, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter, @Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments, what do you like at each one of these positions? Am I missing anything? I need to know. So jump into the comments and fill me in on what I'm missing. And then go check out Prize Picks. There's the link in the description. If you want to get a $100 match deposit bonus, all you got to do is click that link and deposit $100. Quarterback is pretty gross this week, but we do have a decent top 3. We got Stafford, Cousins, Murray, Winston if he plays, Mac Jones, and Teddy Bridgewater here, rounding out that bottom of the top 10. Bridgewater in at number 5, 5,400, projected for 18.5. Miami, 3-point favorites, 46 point total. Bridgewater obviously filling in for Tua. 10% chance to go for more than 30, 5% likelihood to be an optimal quarterback. I talk about it every week, and I want to reiterate it again now. You're not really worried about what you have at quarterback. This is going to be more about what are you stacking up and what quarterback are you bringing along for that stack. Similar to number 5, we've got Trevor Lawrence in at number 4, 5,600, projected for 19 fantasy points. Same odds of being in the optimal, just 5%, but the Jags look good here. 7-point favorites, 43-point total against Houston. It's just another one of those spots where we mentioned Christian Kirk, number 1 wide receiver. You just bring Trevor Lawrence along for the ride. We saw Brandon Cooks in the top 10. You bring it back with Brandon Cooks. Trevor Lawrence is just a function of that. He's not the driving force behind it. Kirk is. So I like Trevor Lawrence a lot, but 1 out of every 20 times he's the optimal quarterback. That's once a year. It's hard to be really excited about the number 4 guy being a 5% chance. Now we take a little bit of a step up to some of the guys that are more individuals when it comes to quarterback. Jalen Hurts, you're still trying to stack him up, but got a real ceiling on his own. 8,100, projected for 25 fantasy points. It's a big total against Arizona. You know Hurts can get it done on the ground. 33% chance that he goes for more than 30, and that's what you're looking for when he's going to be in an optimal lineup. We saw Dallas Goedert in the top 10 for the tight ends. 9% chance that Hurts is in the optimal. Very different tier here, but still not all that frequent that it happens. Basically the exact same story for Hurts. Moves over to Josh Allen, 8,200, projected for 27.5. Massive favorites against Pittsburgh, 2 touchdowns in fact, but still a 45.5 point total. Obviously, Allen can get it done on the ground. He's clearly got a monster arm. Feel free to pair him with Diggs. 38% chance to go for more than 30. 10% chance he's the optimal. Not enough to get to the number 1 spot. That number 1 spot goes to Tom Brady. 6K, 22 fantasy point projection. Double-digit favorites with a 46 point total against the garbage Falcons team. 22% chance to go for more than 30. 11% chance to be in the optimal. Pair him up with Chris Godwin. Obviously that works. Bring back Kyle Pitts on the other side, and there you go. That's the basis of your stack. Tom Brady, your number 1 quarterback this week. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NFL DFS contenders on DraftKings for week 5. Moving through this season quite quickly. FanDuel version of this video is around here somewhere, so check it out. Good luck this Sunday. Win some money. I'm back again Sunday morning with another edition of the Contenders.